Paintings are full of unsolved mysteries. To understand the mystery of each picture, you have to get acquainted with the life and thoughts of its creator. Let these paintings come to life. Watch our new TV program at the gallery.
Any architectural structure is based on an idea. The tower is a symbol of power, security, and sustainability. But on the canvas of the artist, tower soars in the air. What does it mean? What did the master want to convey? Today, the focus of our attention, the creativity of the Kazakhstan artist ASKAR YESDAULET and his painting, The Kazakh Tower. Historical reference, painting Kazakh Tower. Author, ASKAR YESDAULET. Almaty 2011, canvas, oil. ASKAR YESDAULET belongs to the generation of artists of the 1990s. The 90s were the time of freedom. It was the kind of freedom when it turned out that everything was available. You could express yourself in any way. And among the artists of the 90s, one of the brightest representatives was ASKAR YESDAULET. Biographical reference. ASKAR YESDAULET was born in 1962 in the village of Banovka in Shymkent region in South Kazakhstan. I never had such a great desire to become an artist. I wanted to become a poet, I don't know, a writer. In 1985, he graduated from an art school in Shymkent. In 1990, Ruganov State Theatre and Art Institute. At school, when I started learning, I had the worst evaluation for drawing, and my father locked me in the room. He said, "I won't let you out until you learn how to paint." And that's how I became an artist. Since 1987, he takes part in exhibitions. Since 1990, he's become a member of the Union of Artists of Kazakhstan, winner of nationwide independent prize of the Club of Patrons of Kazakhstan, Tarlan, in 2002. He lives and works in Almaty. When Mr. YESDAULET enrolled in the art school, he saw his future quite definitely. He seriously was going to become just a simple artisan who would work with brushes and paints exclusively to make money. During the study, I saw and I felt that I had other things in me, that I'm an artist. And for me, it was a revelation. I opened myself as an artist. I hadn't even thought about it. What could I say as an artist? For example, I made an iron. Isn't just brown paint. Faceless, without any additional things. Just brown iron. And it was a sensation. After college, people at least needed to know how to draw fonts. A glory to the party was something one was required to know how to draw, and later, as you get more experienced, they would entrust artists to paint members of the Politburo. That's what we were prepared for. Historical reference. In December 1991, the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics collapsed. In December 16, 1991, the Supreme Council adopted the law of Kazakhstan on state independence and sovereignty of the Republic. Overall, it was a very good time because in the 1990s, there were many talented young artists, and I would like to use a word like audacity, a creative audacity. They were not afraid of anything, they were free, and it helped them. And that was a whole galaxy of artists and who came and started to draw and to do what they see fit, without any regard for the artistic council, without any regard to how they were perceived, and of course, without any regard to commercial success, because they work for themselves, and we all work for ourselves. It was a contribution to Kazakhstan's culture, and it was important that your voice was heard. But then the main thing was more the fact that the artists were honest. They were honest with themselves. They did what they thought was necessary and created, as we see, talented works. Wise men say that the harder thing is to live in an era of change. The familiar world went from under our feet, but ASKAR YESDAULET was only glad to do so. He was confident that under the laws of nature, man must fight for his place under the sun. And no matter how the history rocked the ship, the artist should just work. To know life, you need to get beaten, broken, get lost and found. After that, you become a man. The other question is if people will understand or not understand. The whole composition is a symbiosis of eclectic images, united by one common idea, the idea of the tower, which is located in the center of the picture. It combines the left and right side of the canvas. This artist works with open, bright colors. They are very interesting to look at for such a reason that the basis for his paintings is not a white background, as usual, but a deep black color. After applying it, he uses bright colors, often contrasting colors. Due to small relief, he uses black color comes out through it and making other colors more decorative and in one piece. When he presented his work, Red Bull, it was already clear that in the Kazakh school of painting, a new turning point has begun. Once I went to see my friend, and when I was leaving, I saw the bull, which stood on a hilly terrain. And he had so much energy. And with this energy, it was just standing there, chewing grass and looking at the people. And for me, it was all a nightmare. I started to write this energy of a bull. And my first period was a bull energy art. This painting, Red Bull, is a cloud. Cloud of energy, creative forces, some thoughts. But then ASKAR YESDAULET goes to weave some lace, and laces about our history, laces of our myths, putting it all in the space of the paintings, and now Kazakh Tower, which is quite a literary narrative. In his work, we see that he is a very good colorist, and he skillfully uses a combination of warm and cool colors, creating a kaleidoscope on a canvas of very bright, juicy, and magical colors. I just wanted to find such images that we don't have in Kazakhstan. Images that everyone inside would understand. And so far, I'm doing so. After Bull's period, I started to paint other images. And again, a new period in the work of ASKAR YESDAULET begins. It was during this time he created a painting Kazakh Tower, floating in space and time in the universe created by the painter. In any case, it is the creative world of the artist and his vision. I think that there is no other similar work because it solves all of these picturesque moments, again, from the perspective of a nomad. It is worth noting that the image of the tower has attracted many artists. It can often be found in the paintings of Hieronymus Bosch and the famous Tower of Babel by Peter Bruegel which is still the subject of careful study by art experts around the world. ASKAR YESDAULET found his interpretation of the character. This is not just an architectural structure, a traditional headdress saka saukele. The word of mythology attributed to the tower, he brings to the image the native Kazakh color. Saukele is still kept by our grandmothers, and there, in this saukele, we try to convey the whole history of our country. I remember the time when if someone passed by our grandmothers at the market, they knew that a woman comes from a certain family and from a certain region by looking at her clothes, her white clothes. Women were dressed according to their family and region they come from. Even the pattern here on the edge was of a certain style. I marked the passing world through headdress. The artist uses dark soil with a large terrain over which he puts very juicy, bright colors. Thus, we can draw an analogy between a multi-layer painting and a very complex and profound world view of the artist. Kazakh tower, seems to me, it's the symbol of our state, symbol of an earlier culture of Kazakhstan. Baobabs, grandmothers in national costumes were used in creation of this painting. Also, there are signs of a European identity. The flying man, the image of the horse. Another favorite image of the artist, a bird. As a child, ASKAR often watched the flight of birds. He was intrigued by their impetuosity, their inextricable link with the sky. And these birds, they create some kind of fertility, a touching feeling of already past time, which is like a bird flew away. And I believe that the bird, it's like a symbol of time, how it flies fast in a blink of an eye. The elusiveness of the time, the transience of time, all of this is included in the image of a bird. But life is harmonious. It is something that does not change for thousands of years. It is Balbal. And what can be done with Balbals? Everyone is trying to revive it, to discover something through it. It's impossible. This is the complete thing. As Kazakh ornament, it is already completed. I believe that the image of Balbal is a sacred thing. Scientific reference. Balbal is a type of stone woman, small, sometimes treated with a stone pillar. In the Altai and Tiva region, Balbals are referred to the 2nd century before Christ till the 8th century before Christ. In Central Asia, to the 6th and 9th century before Christ. In Kazakhstan, Tiva, Mongolia, Balbals were usually established in chain around burial tombs. It is interesting that each object in the picture flowed to some extent. Thus, the artist gives them a complex, deep and archaic meaning. Against the complementary images on the background of the upward towers, a person floats easily and freely. He gets along well with his past. He is not afraid of his future. He just flies. A human being should fly, because he can do almost everything except flying. So, I've been asked, is it an angel or something? And for me, my mother was an angel. She got up at 5 o'clock in the morning and she went to milk the cows. In the morning, when a person stands up and does something at 4, at 5 a.m., engaged in farming, for me it was an otherworldly thing. It was a mystic. When I woke up and saw her, It was normal. When you go half asleep to watch her, she milks the cows. And she was also in an unusual, unreal state. Sometimes I got up and went after her. It was unbelievable for me how one could do that. At that point, my mother was like an angel to me. Of course, he avoids any smooth surface in his paintings. Because there is all sorts of technical tricks, he gives a texture his works. And because he's just like a sculptor, in his own works of art, he makes some additions. And this rough texture of the canvas, it allocates some characters, gives a certain chiaroscuro. And probably again brings us back to our past. Recently, ASKAR YESDAULET started to pay more attention to sculpture. Sculpture, it is such a mysterious thing. It's got a lot of mysticism, the image that remains forever. The sculpture cannot be wrong. In painting, you see expression of an artist, the colors and his soul. The sculpture, it is such a thing. You created it, but it must be separated from you. In his works, ASKAR YESDAULET is far from comprehension of the mysteries of the universe. He does not try to explain to the audience some important truths. He just tries to show us our own selves. Society at large lives in its own time. Artist in his own time. And of course, you can get into any society, make a beautiful still life or landscape painting so someone can buy it from you. And maybe turn for bread and butter. You can do something like that. But honestly, artists must create other types of work. Acquiring knowledge and understanding of a European culture, he's a man who grew up and had seen, as it was an area not even a city of Jibek, he saw the whole national character. And of course, their creativity primarily builds on an understanding of national thinking. And he weaves patterns and uses color palette based on national, traditional cultural elements. For example, they say that his works are in tune with the Kazakh national carpets, korpe. When masters sew it, use the larger and smaller patches. In the same way, an artist uses different techniques and operates in larger planes and more small strokes. ASKAR YESDAULET shared with us his little secret. It turns out that unlike other artists who are very sensitive to light, he writes in the twilight. As the artist himself says, it is not necessary to see what you draw. The most important thing, you must feel it. Sometimes vision only interferes with higher powers. If you take paintings, they come from the earth. By and large, the identification of the art paintings comes from the land where you live. Still, we go forward as artists, like poets, like writers. I created paintings, and Maybe only in a few years, or perhaps even after the duration passes, people will begin to understand it. Kazakh tower strives to the sky. Perhaps the artist is right 100 times. A man must fly. Moreover, each of us is capable of flying, rising above the bustle on the wings of creativity and inner freedom. It is important not to forget the feeling of flight while plunging into the everyday routine. The magic paintings of ASKAR YESDAULET remind us about that.